Alright, what's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. Update 17. Echoes of the Sentient. We're also going to update here the hotfix of 17.01. We'll integrate that into this as well. That's why I waited a little bit longer. I had like a 45-minute video a little while ago, but no, we're going to cut that down just a bit. So there is so much stuff in here that I'm just going to cover some really big stuff. And you can check all the change notes. You can check all the fixes. All that is always going to be on the NOG community blog there that I've got set up, the U17 blog. That'll be linked up there in the video. Just click the I, you'll get to that U17 page, or in the description below. Otherwise, comments below on things that you'd like to see me cover early on in all this, because as you know, I'm going to have lots of content, lots of videos over the next several days and so on. Since it is the weekend, I've got plenty of time to get it done. So anything you'd like to see me touch on first. We've got 5 weapons to go through. You're going to see a lot of this stuff going on in the background. I'm going through the weapons, going through the marketplace, going through the Tenno research. We're going to do some gameplay. We're going to have all that going on in the background while we talk about everything that's happening. So, first off, let's see. We've got the new Equinox. Okay, the Equinox is a new Warframe. This one is split between day and night, so it's kind of like a double frame, if you will, and it manifests aggressive and defensive forms at will. Okay, there's technically 7 powers in this Warframe. So the first power is a shared power. It's called Metamorphosis, which switches between the day and the night form. The day form will grant damage and speed bonuses for a short duration. The night will grant bonus shields and armor for a short duration. Okay. Power number 2 is called Rest and Rage. The Rage is the day. Enemies will, in a small targeted area, become vulnerable to take additional damage. Night is rest. Enemies in a small targeted area are actually put to sleep, and you can kill them that way easier. Power number 3, Pacify and Provoke. Provoke being the day, increases power strength of all nearby allies, so it's a team setup. Pacify reduces damage dealt by nearby enemies, so that's always a nice thing there. So number 3, the day mode gives you ally buff. The night mode basically reduces the damage or the debuffs the enemies, if you will. Power number 4, Mend and Maim. Maim being the day. Nearby enemies are bled and then subjected to a wave of slash force. I haven't opened that one up yet, so I don't know what's going on here. And Mend, being the night, all allies are healed with each nearby enemy killed. So that's actually pretty cool. So he's got the heal ability in there. Again, another team-based setup, if you will. Parkour 2.0. I've released a video on this, my first run with it. You probably see it here in the background again. It is going to take some time to get used to this change. For me, okay, I never really could do the coptering, and it didn't really bother me. And the movement system the old way was just fine for me. I am actually having a lot of problems adjusting to a number of these in here. In particular, the wall running is a big problem for me, or wall dash and latch. They're a big problem for me right now, so it's going to take me some time to really adjust to it. The bullet jump has an annoying sound going on with it, to be honest. But I'm not putting it down in any way because it's just a whole new, style that it's going to take some time to get used to. So we've got double jump, we've got bullet jump, we've got wall latch, we've got a wall dash, we got aim gliding, and zip lining. You can see that in the first video I did. I'll have that link again up there at the I button on the right hand side. You can get to that quickly if you missed it. We'll talk about it more. We'll get a lot more detail on that one. I think that one's something that definitely requires more detail. But for now, you can get a quick thing. You can go through the tutorial that's in the game that they start you with right off the bat, and you can actually go back on the tutorial anytime by simply going into the codex and reactivating it. Okay, stamina is now gone from the game, but parrying now only blocks a base percentage of incoming damage. However, if you're channeling while you're parrying, you'll block 100% of incoming damage, and you'll actually reflect a percentage of the damage back, but it will be at a cost of energy. So you can block some of the damage just by a straight up parry. If you channel, you can fully block and reflect at the cost of energy. Just keep that in mind. Chroma and stamina related changes that we've got going on in here. Chroma's green energy perk now gives a buff to holster and reload speed instead of affecting stamina like it did before. I'm not really sure. Holster and reload speed just doesn't seem like much of anything to me. Depends on the weapons, I guess, on reload, but holster I've never really, I mean, switching through weapons, I guess, I don't know. That's just me. It's not really much of a thing for me. Mods that previously were affected by stamina are now have been actually converted to the appropriate amount of fusion cores, so you may see a whole bunch more fusion cores in your inventory than what you had before. And alternate helmets that had stamina related effects have been given new abilities. Arcane Core's helmet for Banshee, Arcane Flux helmet for Nova, Arcane Storm helmet for Volt, Arcane Gambit helmet for Vauban, Arcane Scorpion helmet for Ash, and the Arcane Menticide helmet for Nyx have all been adjusted to fit with the new system in terms of aim gliding, health, wall latching. All these things are now part of the Parkour 2.0 maneuvering systems, and so they've been affected in these helmets. If you have the helmets, you'll be able to see them again. Now, the Uranus Tileset Expansion, which you're going to see some of that in the background. I stupidly ran it as a fully unranked with all the new weapons. Lost 3 lives in that mission alone, but you know what? It was fun doing it. I didn't find the Arcwing area in there, but we'll play a lot more and we'll definitely expand on it. The missions, the nodes have had a complete overhaul. The maps are super huge in there. You know, for me, that means I'm going to be doing a lot of exploring. We'll definitely have some updates on the hidden locations and stuff. Those videos, I know I'm behind on that. We'll get that out at some point. But it's going to be requiring you, depending upon where you're at in the mission, to go back and forth between Arcwing and regular stuff in this environment, and you'll see that when you're trying to get onto a mission. If you do not have Arcwing open and you do not have equipable Arcwing and gear, you will not be able to run these missions. Just keep that in mind on the new tile set in Uranus. You will not be able to run the missions if you have not run Arcwing as of yet. The new boss fight for Tile Rigor is back, stronger than ever. You can assassinate this skilled threat amidst the oceans of Titania, and that should drop you parts for the new Equinox. Okay, one other thing, we got the new quest, the Nata quest. This quest is a strange drone scanning Tenno, just an upgraded piece of Corpus technology, or are there more sinister than stirring things in the Origin system? So basically, a mystery drone will randomly seek out players that are mastery rank 3 or higher, and after encountering this drone, the Lotus will initiate the quest. Players can also now purchase the Lotus Heart Sigil, which is available in your Arsenal regular section for only 1 credit. So just keep that in mind. I have not hit up this quest yet. I have not been subject to the strange drone. So until that happens, I cannot bring that quest out to you. But just keep that in mind. Okay. In terms of the Exilus mod slot, so you can go over to the Samares and you can pick up the mod piece, and it's going to cost you some resources, of course, to craft it. And once you've crafted it, you can go ahead and put it onto one of your Warframes. Okay. Likewise, you can buy it in the market for like 20 platinum as well. I think it is, if you want to. But you got to get one for each of the Warframes that you want to use. It's basically giving you a utility slot. The existing utility mods that have actually been redesignated with a new mod purpose, so you'll be able to see that when you're looking through your mods. And the ones that are currently designated are Handspring, Maglev, Rush, Shock Absorbers, Sure-Footed, Enemy Sense, Heavy Impact, Intruder, Master Thief, Aviator, Thieves' Wit, Retribution, and Warm Coat have all been designated as utility mods and can go into that utility slot. As well, there are new utility mods that have been released called the Traveler, Firewalker, Lightning Dash, Ice Spring, Toxic Flight, Pathagium, Battering Maneuver, Rendering Walk, Piercing Flight. The Eximus mod slots can be unlocked using the items, like I just said, that are found in the Samaris. And after completing the quest, you can purchase it for 20 platinum if you'd like. I'm sorry. or after completing the quest, it'll be available. It was actually available before the quest was there. Now the quest is there. They didn't release it in 17, so now you have to actually go and do the quest before you can unlock this mod slot thing that you can buy for credits inside your syndicate credits rep, if you will, inside of Samara. There are new enemies that are inside the new tile set, the Uranus tile set. Okay, these aquatic environment, they're all the Drakkar enemies now, if you will. So we got Lancer, Elite Lancer, Scorpion, Trooper, Butcher, Hellion, Ballista, Heavy Gunner, and Excavator that are all Drakkar related now, new enemies. So new scans, so if you're dropping in like your Helios or you're dropping in your scanner, keep that in mind. You're going to have new scans going on. The enemies are also unique to Archwing submersible portions of Uranus tile set missions are the Draga, the Derek Draga, the Shock Draga, the Sikula, the Manic Bombard, the Blunt, and the Rampart. A turret armed with two or twin double barrel cannons, and I had some fun with this one earlier. Oh yeah, that was interesting, the Rampart. So you can hop on it and just rip out enemies as well. So that's going to be an interesting one to play around with. But I'm not going to give you full detail on that. Again, you can just check the blog and you can get all that information if you need to. The new weapons. Cullstar is a handheld cluster rocket launcher. The Harpack is a harpoon gun. Spikes enemies to the walls and reels them in this automatic harpoon gun. The Grattler is a devastating arc wing cannon, which I have not played with yet, but I've taken a look at it in the arsenal, and to me it basically looks like you took off the gun from the side of an X-wing fighter and now you're playing around with it yourself. So that's pretty awesome. Ack and Brunt, Tauragor's new custom axe and shield. These are available. They are pretty awesome. And the twin Grakatas are also available. So just to keep you up in the loop though, Grattler and Ack and Brunt are available inside the clan dojos. The twin Grakatas are available on the marketplace in the secondary items, secondary weapons field, if you will. It's 20,000 credits and it's like 30,000 credits to build, plus 2 Grakatas and a Forma. Nothing too complicated, but that is how you get it. There is a whole bunch of new mods that are available now and transmutable. All these mods are transmutable and will appear in a purchase booster pack, with the exception of the Depleted Reload, which is a corrupted mod. So you have to go to the Derelict to go get Depleted Reload, which increases reload speed and decreases magazine capacity. Everything else of the new ones, Adhesive Blast, Covert Lethality, Seismic Wave, Concealed Explosives, Combustion Beam, Mobilize, Firewalker, Lightning Dash, Ice Spring, Toxic Flight, Battering Maneuver, Rendering Turn, Piercing Step, Patagium, and Final Harbinger, which is a new sword and shield stance. The new sword and shield stance which will work on Silver and Aegis and should work on this new Ack and Brunt, as far as I understand it. Right now you're going to use the 11th Storm on there anyway. Powerful slashes and shield attacks. They've done a whole bunch of game mode improvements, if you will. So let's just quickly cover it. We've got Mobile Defense, Capture, Defense, Earth Sabotage, and Vor Prize Spy Mission that have all been adjusted a bit. In the Mobile Defense, they added more defendable console locations. Console defense time will now scale with mission difficulty. There are now 2 or 3 consoles per mission, with total defense time divided between the number of available consoles. Console health now scales with the number of consoles available in a mission, and the total number of enemies that will spawn to attack consoles actually has been reduced. For capture missions, capture levels now have a single target following a longer escape route. The target capture now has increased health and special ability. The capture target now can initiate lockdowns if the room that they enter does not have any other players in it. And new capture targets have been added to this game mode as well. So we're going to see some things going on in terms of capture. For defenses, the waves will now start with weaker enemies, progressing to support units, and ending with heavy and Eximus units to make the end wave much more intense every 5 rounds, if you will. as far as I understand it. The number of enemies attacking a player can be increased, or has been increased for early waves and decreased for later waves. I'm sorry about that. This should not only improve the performance on the system, but it should also bring a duration of about 20 wave defense to roughly 25 to 30 minutes. So you're going to have more enemies overall starting from the beginning than them all showing up at the end. The progression of enemy types in all defense missions has been tuned, and if you want some more information about this, exactly specifics on it, they have it over in the developer workshop on the Warframe forums. So you can see what they're talking about there. Earth Sabotage specifically, the Sabotage tile set has been given a two-part objective, removing the toxin catalyst and adding the antitoxin, then activating the injector. Okay, the new transmissions have been added to provide more objective clarity on that, and new terrain features have been added to that tile set as well for the Earth Sabotage. In terms of Vor's Prize Spy mission, an extended mission timer and text hints were added to this tutorial mission. This mission will replace the interception tutorial mission that was there, so that's now gone and this is here now. And the new transmissions audio has also been added to that mission as well. On to Kubro expansions. So Kubro expansions, Kubro armor is now available. The Rostam armor and the Valen armor. Okay, the Chesa Kubro can now be incubated from Kubro eggs, trained in a master to find scattered across the battlefield all the different resources, and especially helpful in helping you carrying all those valuable resources. So I'm not 100% sure yet what it fully does, other than it can go out and get resources for you from around the battlefield. The Incubator Upgrade module is available. Players can now upgrade the Genetic Foundry after obtaining the Incubator Upgrade module available in the Dojo Tenno Lab. It is quite expensive for us Mountain Clan, so we are working on that. I'll have a little thing up there probably in there. Or you can buy it. It's like 175 platinum straight out. Status recovery reduced to 30 minutes. Stasis recovery can be rushed with credits now instead of platinum if you buy this module. Only if you get this module do these things change. Kubros are automatically placed into stasis if they become mortally ill. Egg incubation reduced by 1 day, and stabilizers last twice as long if you get this incubator, which is why everybody in the clan is trying to put it all in the lab, so everybody has an opportunity to pick it up. They've retired all the icon bundles. You can buy them all separately now. Additions, trading improvements. What they've done here is they've now added an extra notification in the trade window prompting both parties to accept any changes that may occur in the middle of an offer. So if somebody tries to swindle you, change what they were going to give you last minute, and you had already hit the accept button, and boom, things go through, and that's what was an issue with trades. There was a problem, people were scamming. This now requires it to basically have an extra added exception on there, which will tell you that something's changed. Please look it over and accept it again, basically. There's 4 new capes in the game. You can get any of the 4 if you'd like. Players can now toggle holstered weapon visibility, so you can hide the weapons so they're not like going through your Sindanas and stuff, which I've done in this game that you can see. Aiming, alternate fire weapon is here. Players can now aim down sights with weapons that have an alternate fire option. Activating all fire option has been default binded to the mouse wheel number 3 for PC. There's custom chat settings that you can now enable, disable, or alter their custom settings for the global chat channels in options menu. Players can now manage better their ignore list. The arcane distiller is now available, basically allowing you to remove arcane enhancements and place them on new items, but this is going to cost you 100,000 standing from any syndicate. Okay. The unique oddities can now be discovered across the solar system, just as you will. Explore thoroughly, scan them, and unlock unique lore and unique rewards as well. I'm not 100% sure what that's all about, so we're going to be doing some exploring, of course, through the solar system. The Clan Dojo Research and Contribution UI has been given a slight visual upgrade. It looks a little bit better. Nothing that's going to go and blow your mind. Players can now check their standing earned in the syndicates from players' profile screen. The market UI has been improved, previewing weapons, warframes, and various gear. I didn't really notice much of a difference there. Rare resources are now visually different from their common, uncommon counterparts. They do come in different colors now. And a new glare visual effect has been added, and it can be disabled in the options. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it is pretty annoying. There is a whole bunch of Conclave changes. I'm not going to get into it because I don't really deal too much with Conclave, but I'll tell you from what I'm looking at, there are like about 15 new mods which help increase damage across the different types of pistol, rifle, shotgun, melee, some immune and offensive damage changes and whatnot. There's also a whole bunch of changes to the end of mission rewards with different items. Some mods have been adjusted where the martial magnetism and the relentless assault cannot be used together anymore. And following mods, handspring, avatar, aviator, and sure-footed have actually been removed from the Conclave. And then there is a whole bunch of what would commonly be known as nerfing inside of Conclave, if you will. And I mean a whole bunch of things have all been decreased, and a couple things increased, but mostly decreased. And we're going to finally talk about shotgun buffs and frost changes. Loving both of these. The shotgun buffs increase damage across all shotguns. Damage after projectile fall off has been increased for all shotguns. Shotguns have been given improvements to reload speed. Shotguns have received improvements to their projectile speed. Death at close to mid-range will now toss enemies into a forceful ragdoll. This affects all shotguns with the exception of the Phage. Okay. Frost changes. Awesomeness here. We've got the Freeze now does 100% cold proc and an AoE around the target. Freeze now also creates a patch of cold that slows any enemies that enter the area when you actually shoot it down at the terrain. So when you shoot it at the floor, any enemies coming through it will be slowed down. Frost has a passive ability. Enemies who attack Frost have a chance to actually be frozen on the impact. Ice Wave now flares out as a cone as opposed to a straight line, which does help out a little bit. Avalanche will now freeze your enemy for X amount of seconds, and if they survive the initial damage, the survivors will have armor debuffed while frozen, and targets that die while frozen will explode and they deal radial damage and a cold proc. Snow Globe will freeze and push out all enemies that are within the radius upon the cast. There is no longer a duration timer. It's now just a health timer, or health bar you can see at the bottom of your screen. The players can now have a maximum of 4 snow globes. If you recast after you have 4 snow globes active, the 4th one will be destroyed, or the oldest one will be destroyed, I should say, making room for the new one. Frozen enemies can or will no longer be frozen in place. Instead, enemies will maintain their velocity and be susceptible to gravity and pushback. So if they were in motion when they got frozen, they will remain in motion in the process. And enemies that are frozen solid can be shattered by colliding with something if they are moving fast enough. So if they're frozen and they're in a movement and they're moving fast enough, they can collide and shatter. And then we've got Frost passive in Conclave applies to chill instead of freeze. Okay, a few changes I want to just talk about here real quickly. Rhino Prime base armor has been increased from 190 to 275. Frost Prime base shield increased from 150 to 175. Nyx Prime base shield increased from 100 to 125. Nyx Prime base armor increased from 15 to 50. Ember Prime base shield increased from 100 to 125. Mag Prime base health increased from 75 to 100. And then we have the Supra has received several changes here. They buffed the reload speed to 3 seconds, increased ammo capacity to 1080, increased clip capacity to 180, increased base damage per shot from 35 to 45. And a whole bunch of other changes have gone on. that is all we're going to talk about in this episode for now. Again, comments, questions, anything you'd like to see me touch base on. We're going to go through all the weapons. We're going to go through the frame. We're going to go through all that stuff through the next several episodes of videos that I do put out. So just keep that in mind. But if there's something you'd like to see early on, I will try to get to it. Just leave a comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you soon.